by the man who had an awful lot of crooked numbers in the defensive stat column last week. 4 tackles, a sack. What else do you have here? 3 quarterback hits and a fumble recovery. It's Harrison Phillips joining us now. Fresh off the field interviews brought to you by Austin Air, the official clean air provider of the Buffalo Bills. Harrison, how you doing, man? Would you call that the best crooked number game of the season for you? You had a lot of digits there in a lot of those categories. I know it's not the stats, it's the win for you, but still in all, nice when you can kind of produce that way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I guess if you're going to check as many boxes as you can, that probably showed up in a few of the different stat columns there. I think I had some more productive games in terms of just tackles and stuff like that, and TFLs. But, like you said, most importantly, we got a great win, put ourselves in a fantastic position to clinch the AFC East at home this week. Obviously it was a great feeling to show up in big-time moments and make big-time plays. And, our defense played a great football game. And so it's good to be playing at this level at this point in the season.
Yeah, and with the season going the way it has with COVID and all the guys in and out with injuries, you've really got a chance, I think, to really get a lot more snaps. I mean, the rotation has been probably had a wrench thrown into it 5 different times during the regular season. How has this season and the number of reps you've been getting of late helped you, particularly since you feel it, you really look more like you did 2 years ago before you had that last knee injury? Give us a little, a big picture look about how you feel physically after that surgery and how this season's going with the reps you're getting.
Yeah, looked like 2019 was going real well, had the injury. 2020 came back in, and I finally put together a stretch of 3 or 4 solid games towards the end of the year and into the playoffs. And then coming back this year for 2021, had a little knee thing again. But once I got back into the rotation, so much about this league is opportunities. And so just being able to be out there with the guys and be out there in crucial times of the game, been able to find myself a little more productive. And it's been a very fun season, to say the least.
I know that, we haven't been able to talk to you guys face to face for a long time now with this pandemic dragging on, but I remember a conversation I had with you pre-pandemic just about calling the pass rush games up front. And you were trying to learn at the elbow of Kyle Williams on how to do all of that stuff. And you really had worked to have a feel for it, recognize offensive fronts and formations, and call the things accordingly. My question is, since I talked to you, you've got a new D-line coach, a new assistant D-line coach. I know Coach Frazier is still here, but have they entrusted you with those responsibilities now? Like, I mean, we know Kyle's, retired a couple of years already. Are you kind of the guy to call that stuff?
Yeah, so we don't still implement the exact system that Kyle had. That was very intricate and was kind of his thing. But Coach Washington came in, and the short answer is yes. I'm still like the caller when I'm out there if we don't have something coming in from the sidelines that we, pre-plan. But even further than that, I think the growth, being able to help our young guys just every down and distance, football 101. And so we get out there, hey, we're at the logo. This is after a turnover. Hey, guys, be alert for a max protection, and they're going to throw a shot here. Or we get them behind the sticks and it's 2nd and long, and I'm letting Greg know, or Boogie or Ed, letting the guys around me, hey, let's be alert for a screen or a draw or something to get them back on track here. Ed, they like to trap us down in the red zone. Be alert for this. Or, hey, I think we're going to get hard count cadence here. We're backed up. They have nothing to lose. So more so than just calling the pass rush games, more the other chess game that's going on during a football game. I'm trying to help out the young guys as best I can, on Sundays in the battlefield.
It's the first time in the NFL history they've had a 17-game regular season, and you throw in the byes. You got an 18-week stretch here. It's the longest season ever. How have you helped those young guys like Boogie, like Rousseau, and the young guys, even like AJ, get them through and say, listen, it's a grind. And a lot of people have thought, well, why don't, the rookies are going to hit a rookie wall, that kind of thing. Has that conversation gone on in the locker room with you and the young guys? And I know it's been the longest season ever for just about everybody in the regular season. How have those conversations gone about how to handle the length of the season as well as the time off and now headed into the playoffs when everything's really important?
Yeah, I think the most important thing has been the staff that we have here. So our sports science, our strength staff, our athletic trainers, they have a full team that they put on to figure out what is the best way that we can be in our best shape come game day. We've had Monday night games, Thursday night games, Sunday games, 1:00 night games, the whole work. And every week they go in and figure out how can our team be the most fresh. And so that's helped with the quote unquote rookie wall that you guys see is us trying to have a plan and a routine. And then also them taking care of us a little bit. So as you guys have seen later in the season now, our Wednesday practices aren't exactly what they used to be. And that's because of everyone's dealing with something, everyone's that part of the season. So I think that just collectively our whole plan from their standpoint has helped us and our rookies, and then just the leaders in each individual room taking time one-on-one with the rookies to see where they're at and what they can the older guys can help them out with.
Of late, you and Ed have been kind of a fun combo to watch there on the interior. I know you see all of these ratings and efficiencies that are put out there with advanced metrics. I saw that, they've got you 8th in the league in run stop win rate at like 41%. Ed's pretty high in pass rush win rate for an interior defender. How do you kind of work to build that kind of chemistry, knowing that with the way they rotate you guys in and out, you may not always be with the same guy? I mean, I know you've been lined up next to Ed a good deal the last few weeks, and you want to build chemistry with everybody on your roster, but at the same time, the changing, how much does that complicate it for you to get in a rhythm working off, your fellow interior player?
Yeah, I mean, I feel fairly comfortable with a lot of the guys I go out there with. Ed and I have built a really good chemistry here these last few weeks as our tandem happens to go out there a little bit more often. But, me and Star have gone out there together in some stop the run situations and done a great job helping us get 3 and outs. And, the rotation is always kind of shifting. But, Ed and I complement each other really well. He trusts that if he's going to set the edge, I'll be there to help make, if it cuts back and vice versa. If I can set the edge as a nose guard, he's going to beat the backside tackle. And we've proven that time and time again. And then, kind of what we mentioned earlier about letting people know around me the play before it's coming type stuff. I'm able to let Ed or the rest of the D line know if I think I'm getting the double team on a pass protection, or if the protection's going to their side and they're going to have the double team and we're going to have the one-on-ones. So it's just been good, and I'm super pumped for his success.
Well, it's been 2 full months since you've seen the New York Jets. And when you saw him last time, Zach Wilson was not quarterback in form. And I know it's really early in the week. What are your thoughts? I know Sean's probably put it in perspective. It's a chance to win the division if you go out and win this weekend. What do you remember about the Jets, and what's their personality that you kind of got to get ready for?
Yeah, well, I think it's changed a little bit these last couple of weeks. If you watch some of their last games, I just broke them down a little bit today. I watched the Tampa game too. They're throwing a lot of different things at you. It's not a Manila, here's what we're going to do. A lot of trick plays, a lot of reverse, double pass, jets, hawks. I mean, they're going to move everything around and try to mess with your eyes, mess with your assignments. And they had a lot of success doing that against Tampa. It took them a while for them to adjust. So, and Zach Wilson, he also is, a very talented young player. And so our first chance to go against him, and I think their offense is playing better than it was 2 months ago when we saw them. So, we're not overlooking anybody. I think that they're probably better than the record says. And like you said, there's a lot riding on the game because we can win the division.
How much I'm wondering what the difficulty level is when you face a quarterback 1 week like a Matt Ryan, who where he's going to be. He's going to be in the pocket. I mean, he's not taking off and extending plays. And then you go to a Zach Wilson, who is quite literally the polar opposite, who loves to extend plays and has some feet to do it. Do you just have to completely shift your mindset in terms of who you're going against, number one, but then number two, how long a play could actually last? We're not talking the usual 4.5 second play. You could have a 7-second play out there with that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely wants to keep the ball alive and, try to make plays, and that's, you'll see that a lot out of rookies. And I think our rotation, like you already mentioned, we rotate enough that those extra few seconds, they do add up, especially when you're rushing the passer. And then our rush games, coordination is definitely going to have to be a big point. So yes, when you face quarterbacks who are a little less mobile and like to stand in the pocket more, you might be able to get away with some running schemes that they just don't take off in. When we play mobile quarterbacks, all four of us, or if we're blitzed, however it works out, we all need to have a coordinated rush so that all the pockets are, pockets collapse, but the edges are set, and there's no room for him to escape. So that's something that we'll probably be working this week in practice.
And I went back and looked. The Jets actually won kind of big by a big margin the time of possession last time these two teams met. Of course, it was a different quarterback. The Bills offense, I mean, they went out and they hung 45 points on those guys. So it was one of those games where the offense was scoring. Does that give you guys, this team built, I guess is what I'm asking, is this team built to have your offense go out there and score? They're leading the league in points per game. That's kind of your wheelhouse when you get that team that's a little bit desperate to keep up with Josh and those guys, and it sets you guys up for some success.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys know, as a defensive lineman, if the offense is one-dimensional, man, I can get in my best 4-point stance and I can just take off the ball to try to get after these guys. And so if we're up 2-3 scores early, that is the definition of one-dimensional. And it's kind of, hey, if they run the ball, good for them, but let's go get this guy. And so that's what having Josh and Diggs and those guys on our offense, it's probably a huge attribute to why we're the number one defense right now. So, hopefully that's the case again this week, and we can get up a few scores, and we can all go total red and go rush.
Right. And I know, nailing down the division title is job one here, Harrison, but there is something to be said about being the number one defense in football. That's something that hasn't been done here since 1999, and you guys are going to get a good look at it, provided you take care of business here this week. I know you probably won't revel in it much come the end of the regular season because you got playoffs to worry about, but maybe come March, will that, provided you guys finish the job here and do what you're supposed to do, come March or, April when you reflect on the season, is that something that, you'll be able to say, hey, that's something nobody can take away from us. We were the number one defense in football in 2021.
Yeah, I think that'll, no matter how great all of our careers are on our team, on our defense, when everyone's old and retired, I think that they'll look back and say I was a part of something like that. If we do play a great game this weekend and that's how the cards fall, it's something that we'll remember for the rest of our lives and be able to tell our great grandkids about. So that's a definitely exciting feat. But again, you never try to make a game too big, and you never want to overlook a game. So as long as we just do what we do best and play our team defense, the cards will kind of fall where they may, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that happens. And it's a huge accomplishment if it does.
Yeah. Last one I've got for you, because we'd be remiss if we didn't mention this. You're Buffalo's Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee for the second consecutive year. First, congrats on that, because that's one of the biggest honors this league offers. Believe it or not, there's odds on this. You can have odds on anything. They already got odds out on Walter Payton Man of the Year league-wide. You're fourth on the list for odds. So I think that's pretty good, Harry. So, kudos to you, first of all, for all you do in the community here and elsewhere, because I know you do it back home also, and even sometimes out on the West Coast back from your Stanford days. I know winning the award is not what it's about for you, but if that recognition does come down the pike, it seems like you have a healthy recognition of what that award represents, because it is one of the highest honors that the entire league has to offer.
Yeah, I've learned so much about it since, I think actually I was on with you guys when I was down there last year to accept the nomination.
Right.
And I've learned a lot about the award through that process and how prestigious it is. It is a huge deal and a huge honor. And what I learned so much too is the best part about it is the awareness it brings to the people that I get to work with. And so, after our playoff run, when they did a segment on it, I got to meet up with my playmakers for the first time, and to see the families and the kids who saw pictures of themselves on national television in the playoff, and got to hear their stories and the videos of them on NFL.com. It's undescribable. They were the kings of their high schools and middle schools when they got to go back and say, yeah, that was me on TV. And then furthermore, there's also a financial contribution that comes from the foundation to the charity of my choice, which obviously is the Playmakers. And so I got more funds to come right back into the community here in Western New York, in my hometown in Omaha, Nebraska. So I was able to do even more events and invite more kids, and 100% free to all the kids and their families, all the things that we do. But I think I did 8 events in 2020 and was able to do 13 events in 2021 because there's more funds coming in. I can do more things and more shopping sprees and holiday parties and Dave and Buster's and rent out the drive-in theater and all these great things. So being nominated again just means that 2022 gets to have more of that come in. I know there's a fan vote going on Twitter right now that the winner gets an extra $25,000. More and more great things that I can do in our communities here for all these different things that come in. So any attention that's brought to me, I want to turn back to the children and young adults with developmental differences and special needs that I work with.
Yeah, and so I know Bils Mafia will be all over that on social media to try to mobilize and help get you more of those funds, because I know for a lot of the nonprofits around the country, COVID has been a bear in terms of making it more difficult to raise money. So good on you for getting nominated again. We wish you the best of luck at the NFL honors when that comes down, and good luck on Sunday finishing this thing off and getting another division title in here, all right?
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it very much.
All right,
Thanks,
that's
Harry.
Harrison Phillips joining us here on One Bills Live. So yeah, if you're a social media surfer, Bills Mafia, get out there and make sure you're voting for Harrison for Walter Payton Man of the Year. As we mentioned, one of the most prestigious honors that are out there, number one. But more importantly, it automatically is a financial award for the causes that he represents.